potential with the Metamorphosis Unleashed podcast, your guide to personal growth, health, and wellness. At the Metamorphosis Unleashed, your transformation takes center stage. Hosted by Coach Walter and Coach Dale, this podcast is your go-to source for practical tips, expert insights, and inspiring stories. Tune in for honest conversations, actionable strategies, and a supportive community that's all about growth and positivity. Key topics: fitness, nutrition, mental health, overcoming fitness roadblocks. We also feature interviews with clients, industry professionals, and thought leaders, delivering real advice and relatable experiences. Metamorphosis Unleashed, your guide to unleashing your true potential.
What up? What up? Ooh, come here.
What up? Stop. Hey, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the Butterfly Effect Studio podcast. And we are here today. Walter's a little
I was outside yelling at the Mud Girl.
Doing the Mud Girl run. You had a good time, though? Oh, my goodness.
I'll see. See what I'm talking about.
Spam callers.
No, gotta tell them what to do.
No. Anyway.
Just let you know that we are a real podcast. We're not some fugaziness, you know.
We are a real podcast.
Really, we are.
However, we always try to be real and authentic. So sometimes our phone rings. But anyway, Walter was at the mud run. But how are you feeling?
I feel good. Just my voice is gone.
Yeah, you were out in the rain, and then on top of that, it was
smokiness.
The smokiness from the forest
fires
fires
in New Jersey. 6,000 acres burned in New Jersey.
But they had 17,000 participants on Saturday.
Yeah.
So how many squats do you think you did warming everybody up?
A lot.
You did a lot?
A lot.
He was walking, and I was like, dude, what's wrong with the way you walking? What's going on? And I forgot.
Them legs is cool.
Yeah.
I got to do legs. I'm thinking about doing legs tonight just to do it. Yeah.
Why are you going to punish yourself? Okay, well, do what you got to do. You got to get yourself ready.
Yeah.
But look, before we get started, please like, subscribe. Is there anything else I forgot?
Like and comment.
Comment. And if you have any questions, any questions, hit us up. Please comment. Let us know how we're doing. But today we're going to talk about intentional eating. And first, let me just preface, we're not medical professionals.
That's right.
In the area of nutrition and all of that. But we have done our studies, and we have a lot of good information that we want to share, experiences that we've had in regards to just being intentional with your eating. And a lot of people can't figure out or wonder why they're not so successful. Right. You know, they're in the gym, they're working out, they're being hard, they're doing this, they're doing that, but they're still not making the progress that they want to see.
That's right.
And a lot of that has to do with intentional eating. So let's get started.
Sure.
What is intentional eating?
Eating on purpose. It's making sure that even when you don't feel like eating, you eat. When you want to eat and you're not supposed to, you don't.
That's for me, because he knows I don't. When I'm stressed out or whatever, I don't think about food. My stomach just kind of closes down. It shuts down in terms of nutrition, but I'm trying to getting beyond that and trying to be more consistent with my eating. But it's more than that. It's about being present while you're eating. It's about planning your eating
your meals
experience.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not just about what you're going to take in and what you're consuming, but it's also about the environment that you're eating in.
Sure.
Like, are you sitting in front of the TV, eating, mindfully eating and not thinking about what you're eating? Are you at a restaurant and self-conscious about eating, and so you go with a salad knowing you really want, or you feel like you can have, you need protein in what you're eating, but you won't.
Smell the chicken.
Or you smell the chicken.
Smell the burger and eat the salad.
Yeah, exactly. All of those things matter, and all of those things matter with your success. And, it's just really, really important that when you are intentional eating, that you're thinking about all of those things. So I'm a single woman, so every time I eat, generally, I eat by myself.
Really?
So I can find myself.
That's my choice, because she could be going on dates and stuff, but
I find myself eating on the run.
Yeah.
Or just not even sitting down to eat. Just like standing at the counter, I'm cooking, I fix it, or I'm tasting as I'm cooking to make sure everything tastes good. By the time it's done,
it's too late.
I'm not hungry
because
anymore,
you need all the snacks along the way.
Because I'm tasting along the way. So all of those things matter. So let's talk about that. When you're about to eat, where do you commonly eat? Here in the gym, okay.
Right here in the same place every time.
Right here at the desk, okay.
Normally for breakfast, I eat in between clients, or right before on the way in. I have my oatmeal and my eggs on the way in.
How do you have oatmeal and eggs? You're driving and eating oatmeal and eggs?
Oatmeal, you can almost drink it.
Ooh, no.
And eggs, just take a couple bites and it's done.
Ooh, no.
I cook it in the pan, and I make it into squares, so I can just get a little bite.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. That's cool because you can do that with egg whites or with the eggs if you bake them.
It's like I'll just, when I cook them, whip them up and things, season them up, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I put them into the cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
And then let it cook.
And
then just drain on the side so it gets all the rest of the juice on top. Drain on the other side.
Yeah.
And then it's one big block.
Yeah. And then you
cut it and weigh it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good idea. I don't do it that way.
Yeah, I know. Most people don't.
I'll have like an egg, a boiled egg, if I'm going to have eggs, or unless I'm going to make time to sit down and eat eggs. I'll scramble them. But that's a good idea. And I remember our chef doing that with the egg whites. And I've done that with the egg whites, but I never did it with the other part of the egg. But anyway, so you eat on the way. So the oatmeal drinking, that's a huge no for me. I like my oatmeal thick, with a thick consistency, so I need a spoon to eat my oatmeal. So I try to eat my oatmeal while I'm not driving.
I can feel that.
But I have done it while driving.
I
have it in a solo cup, and I'm just like eating and
staring. I like it somewhere between that the chewy consistency with a wee bit of wetness, like right in that middle section. That's why I like mine.
Okay, what about dinner?
Dinner, I try to eat it at home. But if I gotta lift, if I'm pushing my lift back until later in the evening, then I'll eat at the studio. Because when I lift, I gotta eat right after. I can't be dicking around. I gotta eat right after I lift. Because I've broken everything all the way down. I've tried to spend all the glycogen I have available to train. Yeah. Yeah,
I find that it's hard for me to after working out to eat. But I know it's important, so I just bring my snacks that you have listed for me to eat, strawberries or apples, along with my protein drink. And so that usually will last me until dinner time. But I know I got to go home. When I get home, I've got to eat food, right? So that's important. Your lunchtime meal is very important. The other thing is also you got to do a check-in with your body.
Yeah.
What's your level of hunger before each of your meals? Are you starving?
Right.
Because if you're starving, then you're not going to think about anything that's going on in terms of mindfulness eating. You just want to get food in your
food and get it down, right?
Get it in and get it down so you're satisfied as quickly as possible. So all of that matters. And so we're going to talk about each of those areas and how it matters. So let's talk a little bit before we get into that. The science behind intentional eating. And so what they have found is that people who are intentional with their eating, they eat fewer calories, right? Because they're planning it out. They know exactly what they're eating. Nothing's catching them off guard.
That's right.
Right? They're not right there instantly trying to figure out what they're going to eat. Because that's frustrating when you're standing there.
Yes.
You got a group of people behind you.
Yes.
Waiting to put their order in, and you're trying to figure out what's the most healthiest thing for you to eat.
What's the best thing for you to eat, right?
What's the best thing for you to eat? And we'll talk about how to get in front of that as well. Also, making healthier food choices. It's hard to do that if you've got stress or you feel like people are stressing you out because you're holding up anybody. And then they also found that you do less binge eating
when you have
you're meal prepped, right? So that's important for me in my journey, in that if I don't meal prep, I do find myself just kind of throwing stuff together.
Right.
And so it's really important that we do prep whatever we're going to eat so that we don't do as much binge eating. And then the final thing that they find is that people are more satisfied with their meals and how they're taking in their food if they plan it out and are very intentional about that.
Sure.
So, and the last thing is that it works in a positive way towards your physical, mental, and emotional health. We'll touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
So, barriers with not being intentional with your eating. So one of the things is that I know, I'm sure you've had that because I've watched you, and I'm always concerned when I see you, when you got 90 million people in here and it's almost mealtime and you can't stop and sit down. And it happens to a lot of us in the work environment, right? Regardless of what the work environment is, whether you're in an office and you're thinking you're going to eat at 12 because that's the normal time everybody goes and grabs lunch, and then at the last minute you find out, oh, I've got a 12 o'clock meeting, so you're not eating, so that's always can be a barrier to you being intentional with your eating. Another one is just, I mentioned that a little bit, I touched on that. That's my experience. I hate holding anybody up, so I always want to be prepared in what I'm going to. It's like nothing worse than going into like a what is it, like a Jersey or a sub place, and
Jersey Mike's, or
you're gonna get turkey. I know I'm gonna get turkey every time I go in there. I don't get anything else but turkey.
I don't even go in there.
You don't even. Okay, so he doesn't go in there.
He
didn't go in there. I used to go in there all the time, and I knew I was always gonna get a turkey sandwich. Right. And so I always know it's gonna be mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, right? And then I know it's gonna be pickles. And that's and vinegar. That's all I want.
And so they have Panera, just off the plan, sort of. I had turkey sandwich with 6 slices of turkey meat with onions and pickles.
You told them 6 slices of turkey. Is that like extra turkey? No,
that's a standard.
Oh no,
which
that's
is about
a lot.
20 grams of protein. It's not that much.
That's a lot. The thick slices of
no, they're right thick. Yeah, so a little more than deli thin.
Okay.
All
right. That's
and
what you
then
had.
That with
soup.
Pickles. I had chicken noodle soup today. I just want to make sure my voice come back.
Yeah. Well,
so Dale's gonna be doing a lot of talking.
I'm trying. But anyway, we have a lot of barriers, social pressures, your food environment, habits from your childhood. What was one of the bad eating habits that you had?
Oatmeal cream pies and Pepsi Big Slam.
Oh my God, that's sugar on top of sugar. Mine was not letting my food touch.
And the Pepsi Big Slam was a liter. And I eat a big oatmeal cream pie of 60 cents, 50 cents. I thought it was for a quarter. 50 cents.
Yeah.
It was yummy.
Yeah.
It was yummy, y'all.
What else did you have as a bad habit?
As a kid, I didn't like gristle.
Oh, I've never liked gristle.
Yeah. My dad used to eat steak. Eat the gristle and all of it. Just eat the bones.
No. Okay.
Not my favorite. That's about it.
That's it. So for me, it was I wouldn't eat certain foods if they were like all meshed.
So she can't eat a chicken pot pie.
Stuff,
no chicken pot pie for her.
I've tried it, but it's like, no. So I like to know that I'm eating meat. I'm eating meat. I'm eating my carbs. I'm eating carbs, and if I'm eating my vegetables, I'm eating vegetables. But when you put them all together, that's
what about a cookie?
Weird. Like an oatmeal raisin.
Sure.
It's two things.
It ain't.
It is.
It's not
oatmeal and it's raisin.
And eggs, and cinnamon.
No, but you don't see the difference in that. You don't see
I'm just saying what else is in it.
It's a cookie. Now, if you want to put cream on that cookie, and maybe like chocolate on that
cream
cookie.
on top.
No. Ice cream.
You macaroni and cheese.
What?
You macaroni and cheese. It's 4 different kinds of cheeses.
No, it's not.
It's
no.
If it's good macaroni and cheese,
then you make a roux.
Right. with multiple cheeses.
It doesn't matter. It's a cheese. It's one thing. It's cheese. Stop it. He's messing with me. But anyway.
You like Snickers? Like a Snickers candy bar?
Okay, but no, because I'm not going to tell you what I do. I do like Snickers, but I don't eat it like.
You don't just bite the bar?
No, I eat the bottom part first, and then I eat the nougat first, and then I eat the.
I am so dead right now.
You're what?
I'm so dead right now. Yo, that's hilarious. She don't eat the Snickers bar. She bite the bottom and then eat.
Oh my God!
Yo, I'm dead. Yo, that made my whole day. That made my whole day.
I eat it like corn. I eat the bottom part first, and then I eat the rest. Yeah, you can't like separate the chocolate.
I never heard that in my life. And I've heard a lot of crazy shit. She bite the bottom of the thing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And then that's how.
Yeah, like I can't know how to freeze it. And no. I'll let it get chilled, but I'm going to split it down.
That means you can't give her a little baby one. No, she only can get a whole one.
I'm still going to cook it. I'm still going to eat it at the bottom. Wait till I finish the bottom, and then I eat the top. Okay. So regardless, just sit there and relax. Relax. Relax.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
Ooh, that's some funny shit. I ain't gonna lie for a bit. I'm gonna call Matthew. I'm gonna call him. Hey, bro.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, yeah, that's me. That's how I think it was also how I let it last.
Really?
Yeah, it was like you want to savor the candy.
Snickers really satisfies you.
Yeah, but you cut it down the middle.
So what do you want? You want the nuts and the caramel, or you want the nougat?
Because we're gonna share it first. No,
we're gonna share it. You get the nuts and the nougat.
Then it's not a Snickers.
Exactly.
Right. But it's still a Snickers. I just eat one part first and the other part just be quiet. But anyway, now you're throwing me off. So that's some of our childhood habits that we kind of carry into our adult life, right? In terms of how we eat, not thinking about eating, thinking about holidays and all the food you're going to crush, not thinking about what's in the food. Not that it's bad, but also just, not seeing yourself
he said something
dividing out your plate.
He said something interesting. He said, not the food is bad. I am a big proponent of no food is bad.
Right.
It's just how does it fit into your caloric balance for the day?
Right.
Right. You want ice cream? Great. But there's all your fats for the next 5 days. Right. So it's how do we make everything work to the plan that we have designed for you.
Right.
That you can stick to.
Right.
Right.
So no mac and cheese.
Probably not. But this way you can enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And still eat foods that you enjoy eating. You're just not eating too much or in excess. I think that's what Dale was saying when we talked about being mindful of what you're putting in your mouth. That you're just aware of your palate, aware of your plate rather, and how much food do you really need?
You're right.
One little trick that I learned, when you eat, take your bite, put your fork down.
Yeah.
Give you a chance to chew your food.
Yeah.
Swallow your food, not eat and just start shuffling. No. Right? Eat your food, put your fork down.
Yeah. But who does that?
Right. That's why we're world consumers as Americans, right? I mean, just people eat with chopsticks. They're eating a small amount of bit at a time, right? So if you can eat, with 2 or 3 seconds in between each bite with the fork down, you'll probably get full faster because it gives a chance for your brain to recognize it's eating, so it can send out the proper hormones that you need to tell you that you're not hungry anymore.
Right.
But when you shovel the food in your face really, really fast, you miss the opportunity to do just that.
Well, true. So have you ever eaten and then sit there and say your alphabet?
No. But I do eat slow. I will eat and put my fork down.
So you don't eat slow. Welcome.
If I'm here working, I can eat slow. But when I go out to dinner,
that's not good either.
Eat slow.
When you go out, I don't know. I know I eat slow. I'm always the last one.
I'll eat slow, but here I just don't make the time to eat right. I don't mind stacking my day up and running all day. I just want to, make sure that I'm not dying.
Wow.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's important. Habits are important at the dinner table, and those things really contribute to your intentional eating, right?
Mhm.
And so be mindful of your childhood habits, and really do a scan
Mhm.
of thinking about what did you carry on to your adulthood from your childhood.
Mhm.
For me, it was the way I
What you?
eat, right?
Mhm.
So and then, but at the same time, I look at other people and I see other people who eat a totally different way. I mean, like my brothers,
Right.
like they were like consumers. They were
Mm.
just like killing it,
Mm.
to the point where my mother used to have our plates on the side. But they were all football players like you.
Right.
So they're eating a lot of food to maintain what they need to
Their
maintain to
size,
play football.
right.
Yeah. So another one is, when we talk about that, let's talk about the environments
Mhm.
and barriers. So one of the in childhood bad habits or habits that you formed, and one of mine was we used to when we were really little, we would eat at the table and everybody would eat together. But then as my brothers got in like to high school and started playing sports, the formality of eating at the table as a family
Yeah.
stopped, and everybody was really eating according to what their schedules were.
Mhm.
And so a lot of us would eat just in front of the TV
Right.
because something was coming on that everybody wanted to see when when it was dinner time,
Right.
right? Good Times was on, or,
Yep.
or something was
Anytime you
on.
need a favor.
Good Times.
Anytime you
It's so
friend.
hilarious. But so think about that. So now I know that the one thing I do not do is turn on the TV
That's good.
when it's dinner time, or I'll have music on and I'll listen to music while I'm
Listen to music all day long.
I do. I'm not a big TV person anymore, but
Listen to new playlists.
oh, good. Let it be one that I can really
You wake up your
relax
neighbors.
in. No, just trying to get somebody all hyped. But anyway, so that's something else that you need to think about, your environment. So you're at home, you can set some rules for yourself.
That's right.
Sit at the table, eat with music on. Don't eat with the TV on, because you'll lose your intention and your mindfulness of what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then because you have to do a check-in, so you start, you're hungry, it's time to eat,
Right.
but ask yourself, how hungry am I?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just a little bit of hungry, or you're a lot hungry? For me, I look at my menu plan and I know exactly what do I need to eat. And if I meal prep, it's already set for me. So all I have to do is put it in a microwave and let it warm up. But it might be more than what I'm willing to eat.
Right.
Because I'm not as hungry, right? So, but what I do, and what we all should do, is do a midway check-in. And so, check in with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How full am I? Can I finish this out?
Mm-hmm.
Am I so full that I want to stop? Am I so full that I don't even want to breathe anymore?
Right.
You don't want to make yourself that full. I believe they say that you should be about 80%.
80%.
80% full when you should stop eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is also other that dietitians have. They have different guides on eating. How full are you on a scale of 1 to 10 before you start eating? And if you start eating where you're at, 8, you're at a level 8, and you're going to just start to eat, you're not going to eat that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so, respect yourself. Respect it. If that's where you're at and you're not super hungry. I'm not talking about stress.
Right.
And you just not eating because you're stressed out or whatnot. I'm talking about doing a true check-in with your stomach to see exactly how hungry you are. It's dinner time. It's time to eat.
Mm-hmm.
How hungry am I? Can I eat a full meal?
Mm-hmm.
If not, why not? What did I do? Did I binge?
Did something. Right.
You did something generally. Right. But you have to check in and ask yourself those questions. So that's one other thing. Another strategy that we can do is I kind of mentioned that a little bit, is to develop a calming eating environment. It's very difficult if you're on edge and you're trying to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to take your time.
Nope.
You're not going to think about what you're eating. You're thinking about just getting the meal done so you can move on to the next thing. Or, if you're a female, or, and you're going out on this date with this guy, and it's an environment where you want to impress him. So the last thing you want to do is
eat too much,
or just, crush the food. And the first thing he thinks is, oh my God, man,
like,
she's a lot.
Yeah.
Can I afford to feed her? Those things are real. And some of us do think about that. Yep. And then there's other women who like, I don't eat on dates.
Love me the way I am. Yeah, okay.
I don't eat. So we can go out to dinner, but I'm going to sit and I'm going to talk to you. Okay. Then you also have to think about, are you having an appetizer? Are you having a cocktail?
Likely, but yeah, good point.
Yeah, so we're not drinkers. I'm not a drinker like that anymore. I drink on special occasions. Right. But Walter doesn't drink at all.
Nope.
So when you go out in the evenings with your friends and things, they all want to let's get a bottle of wine. Do you drink that bottle of wine? Factor that in. I let them drink that wine. But those are the things you got to think about. You got to be mindful and intentional about where you're going, what the food is. Is it fast food? Is it more of a restaurant quality food?
Right.
Those things matter in your decision. Are you going through drive-through just because you don't have time?
Right.
And you want to eat en route because you won't have time to eat later? I mean, those are some of really bad things to do, but sometimes, there are situations where people can't help that. I have put things in place where I never have to worry about going to a fast food restaurant anymore. It's just my lifestyle. I've made that decision, so I don't have that anymore. So I'm always packing my food up before I go anywhere.
That's good.
That I need to get in my car and go.
That's good. That's right.
But in the back of the day, when I didn't have that, I was definitely hitting fast food restaurants.
We all were. My lunch of choice was peanut M&Ms and cherry Coca-Cola.
That's not food.
Well, that's what I eat.
That's what you ate for lunch?
Every day.
On top of an oatmeal pie and Pepsi for breakfast.
So by that time, that was when I was a kid. Now for breakfast, I was getting, older than breakfast, I was getting sausage, egg, and cheese or sandwich from Burger King. 2 of those and 2 words of French toast sticks. Maybe medium tea or mediums. Medium. Maybe a large. The extra large was just too big. It was like 40-something ounces. So a large cherry Coca-Cola. 32 ounces.
Did you get the syrup for the French toast sticks, or did you just eat them like they were? Oh, wow.
I eat 1,000-calorie breakfast.
1,000 calories. That's so easy, though.
It is.
That is so easy, though, to eat 1,000 calories. You can eat 1,000 calories just by smelling it and looking at it. Seriously, I'm like, you go to like a bagel place or a donut place or any place like that, the donut by itself is going to be more than 500 calories.
Fried dough.
Fried dough with filling.
Sometimes.
Or icing.
Yeah.
So you can easily eat that off of one donut and knock your calorie counting.
Quick, fast, and hurry.
Real fast, right? So, so you have to engage everything. You have to engage your mind. You have to be mindful about what you're eating. And if you don't want to be mindful and always on top of it, then just prep your food. And then you have to just remember to take it with you.
Yep.
Because I've done that many times where I've prepped it and left it behind. And then it's like, oh my God, now I got to figure out what I'm going to eat. So prepping really does take the stress.
Right.
And being mindful really allows you to see your wins, see the small, simple wins of meal prepping. They're the ahas, right? So it's like you're with a bunch of friends and you decide to go out to get something to eat, but you're like, hey, I've got mine. I'm good right here.
I brought my meal prep to a wedding once.
To a wedding?
I was 4 weeks out from the Olympia.
But did you tell them that?
Of course.
Okay, so they didn't have to pay for your platter. Your plate.
They just plated my food.
They just plated your.
Yeah, I brought it in, took it back to the back.
And they plated it
when everybody food came
That's good. So you saved them some money.
People are like, guess. People were like, "Oh my God, can we have that?" No, this is just for him.
This is just for him. So you had a whole bunch of rice, some broccoli, and chicken.
No, I had chicken for sure, and I had rice, and I never had asparagus.
Oh, asparagus.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's something.
It was seasoned good with jerk sauce. Jerk sauce was just makes a good flavor.
But it also has sugar in it.
No sugar in it. Spicy.
In your jerk sauce.
No, any jerk sauce with sugar.
No, because some jerk sauces are sweet and spicy.
No, it's not jerk. Jerk means spicy.
If you're Jamaican and you can tell us,
go ahead, put it in the comment section.
Put it in the comment section.
Yeah, no.
I don't like spicy, but I like a little bit of. I don't like the spiciness. I like a little bit of the seasoning. I love the flavor of jerk sauce, not the heat of jerk sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found the restaurant that does the jerk, but it doesn't have the heat, and it just has a hint of sweet in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives it really a good flavor, but it's not a lot of sugar. It's not like that. So give us a call.
The way that I know that doesn't have sugar.
Let us know.
You put it on the grill, it doesn't burn. It doesn't caramelize onto the grill grates. There's no sugar.
Well, no, but the juices will.
Nah.
They don't caramelize.
Not like that.
Chef Boyardee over here.
Don't hate.
Okay, I'm not hating. I'm not hating
on my grill
I'm
skills.
not
Hating on my grill skills.
So your senses. Let's talk about your senses. So you see the food. Now, there's one thing I've learned, is that if food looks appealing, you're definitely going to eat it. Because it's like, ooh, wow, that's why we got into all of a sudden people are taking pictures of their plates because it's so pretty, it's so appealing. Right? So that's one of your senses. Your eyes are seeing the food.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's like something they just threw on a plate,
you're not
going to try to eat all of that.
Nope.
You may even question whether or not to eat it.
It's real food, right?
If it's real or not, right? So that's another thing you look at, the senses. How does it smell? Are you so hungry that you're just like,
it doesn't matter?
Oh, it doesn't matter? Or is it like, oh, this is a baked sweet potato. I can smell the natural sugars in that sweet potato, versus it's a potato with sour cream and cheese
I ain't doing all that crap,
all that stuff on there and butter, and it just looks overwhelming. Number
bacon
one,
bits and stuff on there.
Stuff on there. No, I generally don't do that anymore.
I never do it. Yeah.
But those things, you have to look at those things, and you're going to smell those things, and then when you taste it, if it's exactly what you like, your taste buds,
then you're good.
You're gonna eat it, right? But if it's the United States is the main country that has the largest serving of food. That people receive.
Right.
And so I remember when I first started my journey, I was trying to take, I heard them say, oh, you get your plate, but then you split everything in half and you put the other half in a to-go plate, and then you have the half that you have on your plate. Yeah, but you're going to still end up eating it all, right? So that's not helping yourself. But we do get enormous serving sizes. So now here's where it's important to understand that, when you have a protein, it should be no bigger than the palm of your hand. My hand and Walter's hands are very different in sizes. So his size is definitely going to be much larger than my size of protein. But that's something you can use. Look at your hand. Look at the meat. If it's bigger than your hand, you don't want to eat all of that. I know I can't eat all of that. So mine's much smaller. The same thing with your carb. You don't want it to be any bigger than your fist, right? In circumference, looking at your fist. You want what, half of your fist?
Half of it, yeah.
Half of your fist. And your vegetables, well, you want more than half.
Two fills, right?
You want 2 fills of your fist, of your vegetables. And those are all tricks of the trade to keep you on point with your eating and being intentional about, you can just kind of measure it with your eye the best you can. But again, this is using this tool when you're caught off guard. You weren't planning to go out. You weren't planning to eat whatever was at the restaurant. You had brought your own food, and or you had if you had your meal prep food, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But
Right.
those are tricks of the trade that you need to remember and utilize those tools when you're caught off guard like that. And then the last thing that's really, really important
is
to forgive yourself if you slip up.
That's a good idea.
You got to forgive yourself, because then you're like, oh my God, I ate all of this last night, so I'm going to starve myself. I am not going to eat. And then the next thing you know, you're going to binge and eat
On the other
at
side
home
of it, right?
on the other side of that, because you've been punishing yourself all day because of what you ate the night before. Don't do that. It's a vicious cycle that you keep putting yourself into. So it's really, really important that you forgive yourself. Or even if you don't, don't even worry about that. If you know you're going out and you just want to have a good time and eat whatever you want to eat, okay, eat whatever you want to eat, but eat it in moderation. Be aware of what you're eating.
Right.
Think about it.
The amount of sugars and fats are what matters the most.
Yeah, and then the other
proteins you're gonna be kind of heavy on, but carbs and fats are your killers.
So if you're gonna get a potato, just get a baked potato. If you want to taste a little bit of the sour cream, a little bit of the butter, ask for it on the side. Don't allow them to put it on there for you.
Right.
So that you can just have the little taste and then move it on. So those are the little tricks of the trade that I've learned in terms of when I'm caught off guard and I go eat out. It's really important that you use those tools for yourself, but most important, just forgive yourself. Don't kill yourself over it. Just enjoy it. Be mindful of what you're eating, and then enjoy the day. That's just so important. And also, don't forget about your hunger cues. Listen to your hunger cues. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was lifestyle. When you're working and, you got different things going on at work, again, it's really important. If you can prep your meals, you'll be so much more successful in your eating habit than if you're just going off the cuff. For me, it was like I get up, I'm running, I'm trying to get myself to work. I want to get there before the rest of the staff gets there so that I can have some time to just have my quiet time and have my breakfast and keep my door closed and not hear from anybody, not saying the good mornings. That's just me, who I was.
Morning.
Yeah. If I had the door open, it would be an interruption every 5 seconds, it felt like, so I didn't eat the way I normally, I couldn't pay attention to what I was eating. I was always having these conversations and then just trying to eat my meal to get through, because I know the next, by 10 o'clock, I'm hitting the ball running. I've got to get in these meetings. It's back to back meetings until I have a break. Sometimes that break would be at 11:30. Sometimes that break would be at 2:30. Sometimes that break would be at 1:30. But very rarely would it be at 12 noon, where everybody plans to have their lunch.
Right.
So I would a lot of times skip lunch, and because I was in meetings, and then it would be a matter of doing Walter style of childhood eating
where you're going on a row, right?
Grabbing some M&Ms or grabbing some cheese crackers, thinking you're eating healthy, and that's like the worst thing you can do. But again, it's important that you pack if you're at work, breakfast, lunch, pack your breakfast and your lunch, pack your snack of the day. I used to be embarrassed about the size of the lunchbox I would bring in there.
And then they got jealous. What you got in there? Nothing for you.
I would be so embarrassed. It's like, if I have a big lunchbox, then they're gonna think I'm a big old fat gorge eater. I just eat everything and everything. So I would try to find the smallest, cutest little lunchbox that was very professional, but in reality, it wouldn't hold what I needed. It would hold maybe a yogurt and
one container of food. That's it.
Yeah, it was terrible. So then I found myself having a bag or throwing it in my purse so you couldn't see it, right? But let all that mess go. That's not going to help you. Then I got me a big old lunchbox from Buc-ee's, and I had my lunch in there. I would have my breakfast in there. I would have my snack in there. and any other tool that I needed, like the drinks that added to the water, because I didn't drink sodas. Never was a soda person. But I would drink.
Mixer. I used to drink Crystal Light when it first came out.
Ooh, I hated those things. They had such a funky aftertaste. Now he's a Milo. Mio drinker. M-I-O drinker. So Mio, if you're interested, we're interested in sponsorship. But he is a Mio drinker, and he drinks one of these every single day. He's drinking those. I'm a water drinker, but I'll add the Mio in there every so often when I want to feel like I'm drinking something different. You get out of monotony that way. So you just pop that in there. But definitely for work. As a parent, it's really, really important. Ladies, we have a bad habit. The kids don't finish their plates. We're cleaning up. We see a little piece of that good old meatloaf that was left in there. We eat it. Stop eating behind your kids. Don't make them finish it. Get in the habit that it's okay to discard the food.
Right.
It's okay. But I wouldn't do that because I was raised with eat everything on your plate. Eat everything on your plate.
That's it. Clean plate
whether
club.
you want it or not, eat it. Because you need to be grateful.
Eat this. If you don't finish tonight, it's for dinner tomorrow.
No, it's for breakfast in the morning.
Breakfast, okay, mom was dinner.
So you get in the habit of eating, and then you look at your kids, you're like, oh, well, I don't want to enforce that rule on them because that rule didn't help me out. And then they leave half a plate of food or whatnot, and you sit there and you just eat it because you can't bring yourself to throwing that food away. It's okay. Let it go. Bring it away. Somebody's
ringing her doorbell.
Somebody's ringing my doorbell. I don't know why the door is unlocked. It's somebody outside. I'm sorry, folks. But that's another one, right? I was sleepy. So that's another bad habit that we have as parents. We have to model mindful eating. We have to model being in an environment where it's calm so that you can eat and you can take your time eating and enjoy your meal eating and even discuss, hey, this is how I cook this, right? Have those kind of conversations. You know why I didn't use butter? I didn't use butter because it's really not good if you eat a lot of butter, but I use olive oil. Can you taste the difference?
Yes.
Those are the kind of conversations you can have with your kids. And then, that's important to have those kind of conversations, create that calm environment, get them used to sitting at the dinner table, having conversations, enjoying their meal. Some of you who are athletes don't eat well, don't eat correctly because they eat just to be eating because they're hungry when they need to be eating for fuel, for energy, so that they can be a great athlete and perform at the level they want to perform in. And that's really, really important. And I see some of the athletes coming in here that Walter's training, although I'm an athlete, but I'm not a Delaware State or college football player. But it's really interesting to hear them have their conversations about food because they're trying to gain weight. And then you have me, a middle-aged woman, and all the other ladies that are coming in who are trying to do just the opposite, lose weight. So the first time I heard him, we've got a fly that got in when the male person came in. It's bothering us. But anyway,
it's killing me.
He was telling them, oh, I need you to eat 2 more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
And they looked at me like I was
crazy. All looked at him like, he just told them to eat more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there thinking, that used to be one of my favorites.
Yep.
Peanut butter on one bread and jelly on the other. Still peanut butter and jelly.
Yep.
But it was peanut butter and it was jelly.
How about peanut butter?
Man.
Peanut butter here. Jelly. Peanut butter.
That's a lot of jelly. And oh no, so you like yours where
triple decker.
It would ooze out the side.
Slice it in the X. I eat my little quarters.
Just a nice little calming slide of peanut butter.
No, I like
and
that peanut butter.
And a barely little bit of jelly, just to show the bread's colored in a different color.
That triple decker was good for me.
Yeah. So anyway, it's really important for you that are athletes who need to eat for performance your eating habits are just as important as anybody else's eating habits, whether you're trying to lose weight, maintain your weight, or just have a healthy lifestyle and a healthy eating habit. You have to plan out your meals. You need to plan them out so that you don't go to any of the extremes of not eating or binge eating. So that's really important. And then for those of you like me and so many others who have different health conditions, it's really, really important that when you are ready to start to change your eating habits and you want to change your lifestyle, that you consult with a medical professional.
Namely, a PCP is my opinion.
Yes, your primary care physician.
Yeah, they work with you the most.
They do work with you the most.
That's what I like.
But registered dietitian,
right,
or nutritionist, registered nutritionist can help you. But it's important that you tell them what your eating habits are. And that's one thing that again, if you are one of those kind of people who are like embarrassed about themselves or have issues with and are trying to grow, I remember having countless conversations with different nutritionists. One was, it was a cultural difference. When she was asking me things that I ate, she wasn't really clear on what those things were. So I had to explain to her what they were, like fat back. She's like, what is fat back? But it's something that my parents used to season whatever we were eating, right? So I had to explain it to her. Then it got to the point where it was frustrating, because then she would have me buying things that I didn't know how to cook, or it just didn't look right. It was something I never ate before.
Right.
And now I've got to eat it, and I've, like, I don't know how to eat this. Like, I've never had avocado as a kid.
Yeah.
How do you even slice and eat an avocado? Was something I had to learn as an adult.
A small bowl of guac.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. But guacamole, because it has so many different additives in it, will mess you up, But it's those little tricks of the trade. Buying foods that are mixed, that have things in them, will mess you up. It will mess you up. She separated colors of Fruity Pebbles. No, I'm just saying.
When she was a kid, she separated the pebbles, the Fruity Pebbles.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
the Fruit Loops, yeah. Because I like the strawberries. So
don't say the same. It's just a bunch of corn syrup.
It is corn syrup now.
That's it, right?
But as a kid, the grape tastes like the grape. It was great. And the red tastes like the red. But anyway,
the red tastes like the red, huh?
The red tastes like strawberries.
You said the red.
It tastes like the red. Yeah. Okay.
You said the red tastes like the red.
Anywho, it's just really important that you do check in with a medical professional to help you with that. Right. But the most important thing is just keep trying, keep going. You don't quit. You keep going. Don't quit. If you make a mistake, recognize the mistake,
and then keep going.
Learn from the mistake and keep going. And then as you keep getting more and more successful, you'll find that your confidence will grow more and more in how you eat and what you eat. And then the last thing that is really a big challenge for a lot of people are people that they live with, family, friends, whatever. If they have different eating habits and you're starting something new, expect pushback. It's okay. Expect it, but stay the course. Stay the course and you will turn out okay.
Okay.
You'll find your lifestyle is much more conducive. Your stomach's not aching.
Right.
Everything is working in your direction and you're happier. So I think that's all I wanted to share about intentional eating.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So I think the most important recap on intentional eating is to be somewhat self-aware of what you're putting in your mouth.
Oh, for sure.
We can eat healthy and go get a salad and then dump a quart of ranch dressing on top.
Plain lemon is the best thing for a fresh salad.
I like oil and vinegar, but like oil and tablespoons of vinegar.
Yeah.
That's how I like my salad. But,
okay.
I think that, it's important. That is the most, the big takeaway.
Yeah.
Is manage your fork by intentionally preparing your food.
Yes.
And then eating your food.
Yes.
Don't just prepare it.
Don't prepare it. Sit there and let it go bad.
Right.
I've been through that too.
Right. We all have been through that phase.
Yeah. Got to go through it though. You've got to go through it. You'll probably go through it unless you're just really a very methodical person.
Right.
about not having food sit in your refrigerator. Me, it just makes it look fuller, and it would go bad, and so I had to stop. So I learned also that because I would go to the grocery store and buy all these vegetables and then cook one, and they never sell you things for one person. It's always like for a family of four, so you got more than what you really, really need, especially if you get it in a bag. And then you get tired of eating it and you put it in the refrigerator, it goes bad. Then what? So or you're eating it all week, and next thing you know, you look over and your cabbage is starting to look dingy, or your asparagus is looking dingy because you've been eating Brussels sprouts for 2 or 3 days. So I've just learned how to cook it all at the same time. And then if I'm not going to eat the cabbage, I just go ahead and freeze it. I freeze the vegetables. Freeze your own. Don't buy frozen. Freeze your own.
Right.
It's so much better.
It's better for you and easier to do.
And you know exactly what's in it. That's the other piece of it. You know what's in your food. When you meal prep, and when you buy from anything in the store over the counter, then you're questioning. You don't know what's in it, even though they're going to try to tell you what's in it. They'll tell you those are French fries, and you know those are potatoes, but it's more than just
chemicals
potatoes.
they got in them potatoes,
what kind of
right?
Chemicals they got in those potatoes, and how did they cook them? What kind of oil did they use? All of that is important.
All that matters.
How much salt did they put in there?
Don't know.
Do they put a salt sugar substitute type of thing in there?
Yeah, it's great.
It's those type of things that you've got to really look at. And MSG. Did you know MSG was addictive?
Yeah.
I did not
it's
know.
It's a neurotoxin.
Yeah, it's addictive.
Yeah.
And I used to remember when I was really young where people would say they would order a special kind of food and they would say no MSG, please. And I never understood that. But then once I learned what MSG was and how it impacts the body, it's like, oh my gosh, they put that in everything.
Yep, it was.
It's in everything. And you wonder why. You got to keep going back to different chicken places because it's got the MSG in there. It may taste like salt, but it's MSG. It may taste like sugar, but it's MSG. It's modified, whatever it is. So, yep, that's it. Walter, I don't have anything else.
I don't think I have anything else to recap.
The last thing I do want to share is eating a Snicker bar. If you eat the nougat by itself, it is good. It is not going to kill you. It is really good. You're gonna still get the flavor.
You can go ahead and do it if you want. Let me see it. I'm gonna joke you.
It is not going to hurt you to eat your Snicker bar that way. It does save you a little bit longer if you choose that.
I just buy it. 2 bites is gone.
2 bites is gone. No, that's not savoring your food. That's eating.
I ain't got to savor it. I did the rush.
Anyway, that is it for us today. Again, intentional eating is important. And again, think about why we're intentionally eating. It's impacting you mentally, physically, and emotionally. So make sure that whatever you're putting in your mouth, it's not making you feel guilty.
Nope.
It's not making you feel emotional. And it's not going to hurt your stomach or give you a headache. All those things matter. And, emotionally also, why are you eating? Let's make sure we understand why we're eating, because that's really important.
I think so.
And then don't forget about the barriers, the different barriers that we have. Think about, what childhood habits that you have. That's a barrier for you. It could be a big barrier. If you're a kid that didn't like broccoli as a kid, you're more than likely not going to eat broccoli as an adult.
Because you got a choice now, right?
You got a choice now. And you can, like my son pointed out to me, he said, Mom, you know what? We never had artichoke.
It's gross.
I said, yeah, it's gross, Matthew. I never liked artichokes. He goes, but I never got a chance to taste it. It was gross to you, but was it really gross? I don't know, but I had it. He had it in a dip. And he found out gross. He likes artichokes. And I was like, well,
I don't know.
I don't know how to cook them. I don't like them in dips.
Anchovies.
Yeah, it's a fish.
Right, it's a guppy. It's a guppy.
It's a guppy. But they're good.
No,
and they're high in protein, but you just got to eat a lot of them.
Like eating crickets. It's gross.
But again, it's those things. You just think about those things that formed your eating habits. Think about those things that you refuse to do. Ask yourself, why did I not like it? Did I really give it an opportunity? Let me try it now as an adult.
Right.
Those things are important. So think about those habits. Think about your food environment. Think about your happiness. Don't allow your assumptions or what you may think people may think about you and how you eat and what you eat impact. Stay true to you, and you'll be happier for it.
You'll be very happy.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
so with that,
be good, eat good. Remember, you cannot out-train a bad diet. Like, subscribe, share.
Deuces.
Peace.